They say the Frontosa is peaceful, slow, a drifting shadow of Tanganyika. But what if I told you that the most dangerous form of aggression is the one that doesn't look like aggression at all? Not the chase, not the strike, not the flare. I'm talking about an older law, a law written before aquariums, before collectors, before the first human ever gazed into the abyss where these giants were born. A law called slow aggression, silent dominance, pressure without motion, control without violence. Stay with me, because once you understand how this silent force works, you will never again misunderstand what is truly happening inside your Frontosa tank. Let's begin with a truth too many keepers overlook. A Frontosa doesn't dominate through movement, it dominates through existence. In Tanganyika, this creature does not rise to power by swimming. It rises to power by being larger, heavier, darker, older. A Frontosa body is not built for speed. It's built for presence. The deep-set skull, the thick shoulders, the slow, deliberate breathing. None of this is designed for combat. It's designed for territory, for intimidation, for pressure. A Frontosa is a boulder in the current, a monument of muscle and memory, and in the wild, the entire landscape bends around it. This is slow aggression, pressure that moves without moving. When a Frontosa positions itself in a cave mouth, a shadow corridor, a ridge, or a narrow pass between rocks, every other fish changes course, not because it was chased, because the geometry of dominance ordered it to move. But silent dominance carries a cost, and that cost is never paid by the alpha. Watch your colony closely. There is always one fish, the deeper blue, the thicker skulled, the one whose posture carries the weight of the lake itself. He barely needs to move. He shifts his body by degrees. He holds a corner, an entrance, a cliff face. He doesn't fight, he doesn't rush, he simply occupies, and the others bend around him. Every weaker fish that passes him pays a toll in silence, a toll of stress, a toll of energy, a toll of submission. Day after day, breath after breath, shadow after shadow, the toll grows heavier, until one day it becomes a wound no medication can fix. You see it in the fish that eats last, the one that fades in color, the one that loses weight without illness, the one that hides during feeding, the one that avoids the alpha's shadow as if it burns. And the keeper, confused, desperate, reacts the only way they know. Water changes, new food, parasite treatments, endless testing. But the real enemy is none of these. The real enemy is pressure, slow aggression, dominance that drains life without ever opening a mouth. And here comes the tragedy. Keepers only see slow aggression when it's too late, when the weakest fish collapses overnight, when the calm colony suddenly loses a member, when the never-aggressive alpha kills a fish he never touched. But nothing happens suddenly. The collapse began long before you noticed, because a Frontosa sees the world not with eyes but with space, rocks, shadows, tunnels. They're not decor, they're corridors of tension. In nature, these corridors stretch across kilometers. In your tank, they are compressed into centimeters. Pressure that spreads harmlessly in the lake becomes lethal in captivity. This is why your Frontosa bullies without bullying, because the tank shrinks the distance between dominance and collapse. And to understand why, you must understand the predators that shaped it. In Tanganyika's twilight zones, danger doesn't rush. It waits. Kampango catfish the size of teenagers stalk the cliffs. Boulangerochromis glide through the blue darkness like silent torpedoes. Even deep-water eels slip through the shadows without disturbing a grain of sand. These predators taught the Frontosa one rule: survive by conserving energy, not by spending it. Every pause, every slow turn, every long breath is a memory of the ancient hunters who punished anything that wasted strength. Slow aggression isn't just dominance. It is survival written into bone by monsters. But slow aggression is not random. It follows a pattern, an ancient choreography passed down through generations. A Frontosa does not become dominant in a moment. It rises through 7 phases: posture tilt, skull elevation, pectoral widening, shadow claim, corridor control, freeze signal, and pressure pulse. The final phase, pressure pulse, is the most dangerous. A tiny, almost invisible shift, a breath, a tilt, a single degree of change. But every fish in the colony feels it. Their bodies pivot instinctively, turning away before their minds even register the motion. This 7-step cycle is the architecture of dominance. Violence replaced by geometry, force replaced by choreography. But dominance is also shaped by birthplace. Kigoma males rule with wide arcs and sweeping territory. Mpimbwe males rise fast and fall fast, aggression compressed into intensity. Kapampa males rule through angles and shadow tactics, shaped by fractured reefs where power depends on geometry, not size. Mix these instincts in captivity, and you mix cultures older than memory. Harmony becomes conflict, order becomes tension. And here's a secret almost no keeper knows. Males do not finalize the hierarchy. Females do. The colony's female council decides whether an alpha stays in power. Watch them during feeding. They choose which male they hover behind, which male they avoid, which challenger they shadow. Their movements are votes. And when enough votes shift away from the king, his collapse begins. Not with a fight, but with the quiet withdrawal of female approval. But the most dangerous moment in a Frontosa tank is when the alpha collapses. Because slow aggression does not only drain the weak, it drains the strong. And when the ruler falls, he falls in a single night. One misaligned posture, one slow breath, one hesitation, and the geometry of the entire tank rewrites itself. Corridors realign, shadows shift, territory collapses, and the king becomes the captive, crushed under the same silent pressure he once used to command his world. So how do you reshape this ancient force inside a glass box? First truth, you fix slow aggression with geometry, not space. Long tanks do nothing, wide tanks do little, but tanks with broken lines of sight, shadow pockets, blind corridors, and layered refuge angles change everything. The alpha cannot hold what he cannot see. Second truth, ratio. A Frontosa colony needs many females. Not for breeding, for pressure distribution. One stressed fish collapses. 5 stressed fish survive. Pressure spread is survival spread. Third truth, temperature. Warm water accelerates metabolism. Accelerated metabolism amplifies aggression. Tanganyika is not warm, it is stable. 25 to 26 degrees Celsius is balance. Even a slight drop softens dominance. Fourth truth, feeding rhythm. A hungry alpha is dangerous. An overfed alpha is explosive. Frontosas evolved for slow, heavy meals, deep water ambushes, long fasting windows, patience, not constant pellets. Feeding rhythm shapes aggression rhythm. Fifth truth, tank maturity. Young Frontosas are unpredictable, hormonal, chaotic. Mature colonies are rhythmic, patterned, territorial. Only time creates stability. But how do you know slow aggression is happening right now? Here are the signs. One fish swims slightly lower. One fish avoids the center. One fish fades between meals. One fish reacts to shadows, not fish. One fish eats last even when starving. And the most subtle sign of all, one fish freezes for a split second whenever the alpha moves, even in the opposite direction. If you see these signs, your tank is not peaceful. It is controlled. Controlled by a ruler so efficient he never needs to move. And once you understand how predators, coastlines, dominance cycles, female councils, and corridor geometry shape your colony, you begin to see your tank for what it truly is. Not a peaceful display, but a compressed version of an ancient kingdom fighting to breathe. Before you step away from this video, listen closely. Dark Cichlids was never built for everyone. It was never meant to be a channel about colorful fish or pretty tanks. This place is for the few, for the ones who look beyond the surface, beyond the movement, beyond the noise, and choose to understand the silence, the pressure, the shadows, and the ancient laws inside these creatures. Most people just watch their tanks. They see eating, chasing, swimming. They think that's the whole story. But if you are still here, you already know it isn't. You felt the weight behind the silence. You recognized the patterns in the shadows. You saw that what lives behind the glass is not just a fish, but a fragment of an ancient world carved by predators, stone, and evolution itself. And if this video made you think differently, if even one moment opened a new door for you, that means something important. It means you're not here for entertainment. You're here to understand, to study power, to join the few who see what most people never notice. And now, one last thing before you go. If you didn't like this video, if you felt your time was wasted, don't hesitate to press the unlike button. Truly, because Dark Cichlids is not about chasing numbers. It's about depth. It's about clarity. It's about the few who actually understand what these stories mean. But if it's the other way around, if this video gave you a new perspective, a new question, or a deeper respect for the world inside your tank, then press the like button. Leave a thumbs up emoji in the comments so I know you're one of the people who gets the deeper meaning beneath these videos. So I know you're here for the right reason, Because this journey doesn't end with one video. What we are building here is not a hobby. It's a tribe, a mindset, a way of seeing the world through power, dominance, evolution, tension, and presence. And if you're one of the few who can't unsee the truth once it's revealed, then I'll be waiting for you in the next one. Dark Cichlids. We don't keep fish, we study power. See you soon.